we will know more. By the end of this podcast, we're going to know more about the structure of the song, lyrically and internally, than Billy Joel.
I love it.
I just realized I'm wearing toe socks.
Oh, no. I just realized you're wearing toe socks, and I have to tell you, I hate it. Toe socks are, like, my least favorite thing.
Well, all right. Well, we got it through 4 weeks, and the thing that ended this wasn't the terrible onslaught of world and national news, but the fact that I wore toe socks one day. Hey, welcome to Week Didn't Start. This is a podcast where we, for some reason, every week, take the news of the week and interpret it into the lyric format of Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire. My name's Jerzy. I'm here with Sam Corbin. Hello, Sam.
Hello. Good evening. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. So we're in week 4 of this, and it's just, we are still doing this. It
is somewhat unbelievable to me. I think I've lost all sense of purpose.
So, before we get into the song of the week, same song. Before
Sam
we
song.
get in, it's the same. It's the same song.
Okay.
Before we get into that, I posited a structure in the first ep, but it's like the 3 talking points are: what was this week like? This exercise like for you this week? Do you have further thoughts about the song this week, which we already kind of were chatting about, and something else? Oh, just like the news, like what it's like to keep up with the news.
Yeah,
I think those are the 3.
Yeah.
So, what was this week like for you?
For me, this week was a little bit easier because the news felt a little more varied, and I can't tell whether that's A, because I'm getting better at sourcing it, B, because I am making a better composite of things that matter to me and things that seem to matter to the world.
Yeah.
I think those are the only 2 options. But it just felt more varied. Yeah. How about you?
Mine didn't feel as varied. I felt kind of stagnant with this week because there's a lot of, we touched on this a little bit last week, but there are these ongoing stories. There's coronavirus, there's Iran, there's the impeachment trial, there's the pre-first, primary caucus back and forth. So there felt to me like a lot of check-ins with like granular sort of points along the way of these ongoing stories in a way that made it hard to break into like, what's the event of today in the impeachment trial? You know, we said we would, it's like, oh, we tried to secure the votes on Wednesday, but then the vote happened, so like, what are the discrete items of each of these kind of ongoing stories? And I did feel particularly this week, which I mentioned to you before we turned the mics on, was like, it felt like I felt like I didn't have as much lighthearted fare this week either. Like there's a couple things like meme stuff, online stuff, whatever, entertainment news, but it felt a little like heavy on the Monday, Wednesday days.
I think this is also an argument for potentially changing the way that we work, in that I think if we were to visit the song in its entirety, the form in its entirety, looking at all the verses before we recorded, then we would be able to see whether the week's news was missing any. Because I bring this up because I think there's an importance to continue setting the stage every time we do this, right?
Yes.
We have to keep saying what is going on. If this is the only song that someone hears, they don't hear last week's, they don't hear next week's, do they have the full picture?
Whoa. Okay, so this is pivoting into the other
question
about like the song itself, right? Or no, are you talking about the picture of the news?
Well, I think we've already...
Is this a good distillation of the news?
Yes, and I bring that up because when you first asked me to do this, I think the sense was that Billy Joel chronologically summed up the zeitgeist of each decade, series of years, pretty well, so that if you had only ever listened to We Didn't Start the Fire, you would get a pretty cohesive or expansive sense of the last however many decades. I think we would like to endeavor to do the same thing with each week's news, to feel as if we have truly summarized the spirit of the moment.
I think that the more, and like I totally failed at this week because you're just seeing mine now, but like the more that we can do them day by day, then we won't double. We said last week too.
Day by day. Oh, so that the person who's doing their Tuesday will see what the person did on Monday?
Yeah. Or we can just kind of negotiate over things.
I think it would be good to be able, like, I do like revealing the verses to each other, but
maybe just like what the items are, even.
Yeah.
Ugh, that's it. That's the show.
What?
We have 2 documents. Or there's the compiling of the news that we collaborate on over the week. And then we'll check on what's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then we can write our verses offline. So we know what the news is that we're dealing with.
Okay. I gotcha.
With our respective things.
Fair. Good. Yes. Yes.
If we can do that.
I was just like, that consigns us to weekend writing every week.
No, I mean, because once Monday is done, like, that's Monday. You know what I mean?
Okay, sorry. So what you're saying is we don't compile the news for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday before starting.
We do. We just, we have, like you're writing your verses in the news document, but we could just have the news document. And so the joint task is identifying the potential news items to include in the verse for each day. But we could write them independently on our own time during the week, and then still during the show see them for the first time.
I understand. I think that's kind of what we've been doing, in a way, except just not keeping it updated, right?
Yeah. It's more, it'll be,
It's the utopian ideal of what we're
the utopian ideal. Can we try that for this week?
Sure. Yes. Yes. Nothing will happen for me on Monday or Tuesday.
Fair enough. Yeah. Oh yeah, you're doing stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so that was answering question 1. In a very slow way.
Oh, yeah. Well, then question 2 is the song. We talked about the song. About Billy Joel's
Yes.
quote.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about that lyric. Okay. And then third piece was news.
Oh, just what's it like? Like, what are you noticing about the news from doing this weekly? Like, your intake of the news and your thoughts on them and how you process it.
I think I'm discovering... This was the first week that I saw a glimmer of understanding the, like getting to feel like I could see all kinds of news, and I don't know why. I don't know what I stumbled on. Maybe it was that, aggregation website. But I have things in each verse that are widespread, and none of it is weird news. None of it is like weird Fox News blog news. It's like science and tech, nature, climate disasters, like a lot of different stuff. And I kind of want to aspire to that each week, because it was, obviously news could be bad, but it stopped feeling like, okay, here's the problems in America. Here's the American lens of the problems that we have.
Zooming out to the global stuff.
Yeah.
I found myself, again, it felt like repetitive to me, and we're only in week 4, but certain things were like, I was like, oh, a U.S. plane went down in Afghanistan? Like, is that this... And there was an Iranian missile attack on a U.S. airbase? Like, is this a new thing? Like, how many times has the Baghdad U.S. embassy been bombed?
But imagine doing Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire during World War II. Like, truly imagine how much...
Yes.
How, if there were 2 people doing a podcast during World War II to Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire, imagine how many small actions and things would be compiled. And I start to feel a little bit, that is where actually I start to feel the futility, is where I feel like we're documenting things for no other reason than that someone else documented them.
Yes.
And I want to figure out a way to be like, like I said earlier, what is the summary of the week that we feel we want to look back and say, this was this week in time?
That's the thing about the news and the song, to go back to question 2, which we kind of half did, which is, because you said this at the beginning, and I clocked, like, I don't know if I necessarily agree. Like, is the exercise to say, this is what happened this week? Because for Billy Joel, not to speak for William Joel.
You're doing it.
But the premise of the song is we didn't start the fire, right? That's the frame through which we're viewing this. It's not like these are the things that happened in the last 40 years.
But
there's this ongoing churn of unrest, of cultural change, right? Like, what are the categories of things that qualify for, like, what is the fire, Sam? That's my question.
So I maybe mistermed the richesse that I'm trying to achieve. But what I'm saying I think that we can capture the ongoingness of time and still do a better job of, I don't want to say summarizing the week's news, but capturing the moment as it exists, because I think Billy Joel's song does both, right? It gives you a sense of futility while making you feel like there was this kaleidoscopic sense of culture.
Yeah.
Just running and changing shape as you looked into the lens. And that's what I feel like we need to do is do a better kaleidoscope each week, to make the futility feel more real and less like we're inside the box, more like we're outside the box, talking about how it's shaped.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes. I think focusing our in-week collaboration on looking at what the news is for the day and being able to say, like, this is Monday. This was Monday. Will help. Because then I think it might also help give us context to, as we write our independent verses and zipper them together, then the final verse, rather than us on the Sunday being like, what the fuck is happening? Mm-hmm. Like, what is going on? What happened yesterday? And getting it down, it'll be more about summing up the week.
Yes. Pulling things that didn't really fit anywhere specific in the verses, but feel like part of the story. And that's part of the thing I did, I think, when I started taking notes about Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I had like a couple things. I was like, I forget when the first instance of this was, but this is happening now.
Yeah. Did you have any things I happen to have, for example, I have something on Monday there was that plane crash in Afghanistan, 2 died. And then on Wednesday, the victims were identified. Mm. So it was like this, again, these ongoing stories, but different moments in them. Do you have any notion of that? Like, or are you predisposed to want to do something like that or not?
Newly predisposed to not want to do something like that because it's interesting because I think if we do it, then Wednesday becomes, like, verse 3 becomes Wednesday in the news. Do you know what I mean? Like it really, I think there's an element of it that is in danger of being reductive or reduced to that, right? Summarizing the day's news in a verse form.
Yeah.
Which, and I think if we want to transcend that, if we want to do something more than that, then maybe there's something to be said for looking at the news that they were identified, but saying, well, this kind of thing has already been addressed.
Yes.
Then again, when in week 1 of this project, we thought we were on the brink of war with Iran.
Right.
Each moment felt a little bit more scaled, right?
Right.
It felt like it's not just that we're saying Monday the missiles hit, Wednesday they found out that it felt like consciousness was progressing. And you could make the same argument for bodies being identified, but I wouldn't. Yeah. Those are my thoughts on it. What do you think?
No, I think you're right. I which is why I wanted to do this project with you, is like, how can we get better at doing the thing? You know? And it feels to me like we're on the upward slope of a hill that we're about to crest.
One fucking
where
hopes.
Something clicks and we do it.
Yeah.
And I'm also ready to, once we do next week, to like look at just trying shit. Like this week, do we just have an open doc and we just co-write it in the messiest way possible or something? And
I want to experiment.
A future week, do you just do a whole pass at it and then, as at a draft, and then next week, do I do a whole pass at it and then we collab?
10, it's sponsored by, Coke, and they do it, and they take over.
Maybe not week 10, but, we're going to get sponsors. Billy Joel is going to come on the show.
Oh, thank God.
Billy Joel, join us on the show.
He'll join us in my 4'10" tiny attic space and record with us.
It is a beautiful space with beautiful acoustics. All right, so shall we jump into the song?
Let us jump in. Oh,
Okay.
am I allowed to ask one structural question before we
Yes.
begin? Do you think that Khrushchev was supposed to rhyme with Suez?
Yes. Wait, Trouble in the Suez is the end of...
First verse. Or, sorry, second verse.
Second verse.
Something, something, Khrushchev, da-da-da, da-na-na, trouble in the Suez. But it is an interesting non-rhyme rhyme. It's like an assonant rhyme. Like, England's... Oh! Catcher in the Rye rhymes with goodbye.
Yeah.
Parmesan
This
does
was
not.
our revelation last week.
But there was a slightly separate... Now I have to pull
Each
it.
verse has its own scheme. Each verse is
I
unique
know,
in
but
a way.
I'm like mad. Okay, so the thing that confuses me about this Tuesday, the second day verse, is it goes Bardo, Budapest, Alabama, Khrushchev, Princess Grace, Peyton Place, Trouble in the Suez. So you think Suez and Khrushchev rhyme intentionally?
Princess Grace, Peyton Place, Trouble in the Suez.
Well, no.
Oh,
Suez,
Khrushchev,
and does it rhyme with
and
Khrushchev?
Suez. Yeah, I think it's a slant rhyme for Khrushchev and Peyton Place, Princess Grace.
Okay, well, I did not do that this week, and that's that. I will change my ways.
But there are a bunch of those that are a little bit...
It just makes me
Slant
wonder,
rhymes.
because, like, I
But
think
he
I'm
is
still
stricter
learning
with-
about
about the rhyme scheme?
I think I'm still learning about the rhyme, the hidden rhymes that I did not previously see.
But the rhymes are, like, as long as there's a similar kind of vowel sound in there, the rhymes are not as strict in a lot of cases.
Well,
He's
that's-
really strict with
yeah.
the syllables.
Yeah.
Whereas
Well-
I feel like I hedge on the syllables.
Like occasionally, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
All right, let's dig in.
Okay.
All right, so I had Monday this week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for Monday, January 27th, Netanyahu, Benny Gantz, plane down in Afghanistan, Kenneth Starr, Dershowitz, AP photo crop. Canvassing for Democrats, Billy Porter, Grammys hat, climate pusher, Amazon, U.S. markets drop. Bum, 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 bum. Earthquake deaths in Turkey, bad job by TMZ, pharma boss will head to jail, Andy Samberg Sundance sale, Mitt wants Bolton on the stand, Chinese wildlife markets banned, Rick Moranis won't bust ghost, koala, mitten, air, mail. We didn't start the fire.
Wow. Locust swarm, Samsung, Auschwitz in memoriam, Amar, Ramasar, McConnell can't block. Middle East deal a mess, mom prevents Rep King success, FAA made copter call, Dershowitz shocked. UK chooses Huawei, lesbians love more than gays, Facebook local news, grants, US debt is worse than planned, Ben Smith, new, shrill, Seth Rogen's mean that kills, 3M down, Fox crown, quake in the Caribbean.
Yeah. Facebook ID verdict in, border wall gone with the wind, Google Chinese office shut, good idea, says Starbucks, flooding in Madagascar, Pompeo shouts at NPR, Palestine rejects Trump plan, India and Pakistan. Bum, 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 bum. Warren campaign polling slide, crash victims identified, world's worst cat is just a jerk, officer kills handcuff perp, anti-sender super PAC, U.S. airbase troops attack, selfless terror, satellites near missing space, child labor at Chipotle. Chipotle.
Chipotle? I never thought you'd sing to this. Okay, I'm going.
Chipotle.
Chipotle?
Child labor at Chipotle.
Yeah,
It's
there you
supposed
go.
to be Belgians in the Congo. I just wanted to end on a vowel.
Yeah.
Okay. Satellites near missing space, child labor at... Oh,
Yeah.
God damn it. Satellites near missing space, child labor at Chipotle.
you go.
That's it.
There you go.
I knew it would work.
E. Jean Carroll, Paul Farns, don't fly. State Department warns shares. Search for Amazon. No war against Iran. Carter Page sues DNC. Global health emergency. Protest. Gonna arrest. Goop show slammed by NHS. Or Auroral Dunes Nigerian words. Oil spills can now kill birds. Trump still rallies NIA. What else do I have to say? Wait, what else do I have to say?
Wow, you really came at me for Chipotle. And then...
Trump still rallies NIA. What else do I have to say?
Yes. I think this is a strong one.
Strong week.
And we didn't have any overlaps?
I don't think we did. I mentioned Dershowitz because he had like that call out where he told,
Oh yeah, did
spoke
I
to
use
the
his
House.
name?
Well, you used his name, but that's an example of something where I'm like, we are better served by having the name stand for, if it's like all implicating the same event, which is his response to the impeachment trials, which I assume it was. That's where I would like want to have figured something else out. But yeah.
Well, he's like giving his case. So I did something in Monday where I had like the names and the two names that were with each other, like triangulated what the story was. Because like Netanyahu and Benny Gantz visited the White House. Kenneth Starr and Dershowitz are like Trump's head legal, or, you know, most prominent and most reported on legal team members. It's sort of a cheat, but like putting them next to each other felt like, oh, that it's alchemy. Like it's more than the sum of its parts to put those two names in proximity.
It's an interesting question because I think for me, a comma tends to separate worlds. Like in this song, it's like if you make two names in a list, they are separate, but I've also done what you did in previous weeks.
We're just, we're exploring, we're stretching the form, we're seeing what is and isn't the show. And
love how you can just stretch the description of what we're trying to do here to make everything that we do seem very intentional.
Yeah. Well, because we're going to become the foremost experts on the format of this song in the world.
Yeah.
That is going to be a worthless thing to be able to put on either of our resumes or flex about.
You.
Did Monday, any thoughts on Monday? Did Monday make sense?
You want to see if there's any terms? Let's see. Okay. Some of the names I just don't know. Who's Benny Gantz?
Benny Gantz is the other Israeli official, military official who visited the White House with Netanyahu.
Billy Porter Grammy's hat is my favorite part. It's very good.
That was like the meme of the week.
Yeah, it was very good. Andy Samberg Sundance sale? So
Andy Samberg made a movie that, Sundance is currently going on, or ending tomorrow. Andy Samberg's movie broke the record for like selling to a studio at Sundance.
Wow.
It's the highest price for a movie that was bought at the festival.
And then may I ask, koala mitten airmail?
You didn't get that story. This was a story about the well-meaning aid that is going to Australia to support animals that were displaced, hurt, in the fires, and that there are too many like homemade blankets and specifically koala mittens is cited in the headline from BBC. And the individuals and groups who were soliciting these donations had to rent out additional like warehouses and stuff to store all these surplus koala mittens and similar kind of handmade stuff. So there was a plea to say like, please don't send any more.
Incredible.
Koala mittens.
Any questions about Tuesday?
Yes. Well, one thing about Auschwitz in Memoriam, the anniversary is definitely Monday, the 27th.
The news about the commemoration was Tuesday.
Yeah, but I saw that you had it, and I was like, because I had it. I think I had it in. I had it in for Dershowitz.
God.
Yeah.
See, I can't. Yep.
Yeah, but that's a syllable chunk.
Yes.
Yeah. I think I replaced what I read for Auschwitz with Kenneth Starr Dershowitz. Lesbians love more than gays.
A study finds, major study finds that lesbians are like more universally tolerated than gays in the world.
Okay.
Yep.
Seth Rogen's Mean the Kills, yes. Ben Smith. Oh, this was a story that kind of went over the week too, because Ben Smith left BuzzFeed and then was announced as New York Times.
Right. What a pivot.
Oh, Fox crowned.
Oh yeah, Fox just celebrated being like #1 news network for 18 years in a row per Forbes. If it was per Fox, I would not have put it in.
That's like they said at every commercial break.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, my favorite part of this one was Mom Prevents Rep King's success. Do you know about this?
Oh, yes, and I love the way that you put it.
Thank you. I was thinking about the use of wordplay like as our own personal infusion into this. Yeah.
I got into a little bit of I tried to get a little bit of wordplay in the next verse with the border wall gone with the wind. I was trying both of those things in that first line. Mm-hmm. I was trying to get really clever with, and I couldn't
What
find
is border wall gone with the wind?
Oh, there was a thing that a big section of the border wall blew over.
Oh, wow.
It was like so weak that
wow.
Yeah, it blew over in the wind, and that was like a very shared thing, you know, because people love the idea that the Trump wall blew over.
What is good idea says Starbucks?
Oh, meaning that's relating to Google Chinese office shut. So, because I had these two things, like Google closes all Chinese offices and Starbucks closes locations in China.
Oh, fun.
So the idea was Google Chinese office shut. Good idea, says Starbucks. We will do the same thing.
See, that's a comma.
That's a comma.
It's bad comma.
It's a bad comma?
No, I'm making a silly joke about bad comma.
Comma.
Okay.
Yeah.
Forget it. Third verse.
You're familiar with the World's Worst Cat story?
Oh, yeah. We tried to put it into last week's weekend verse, and I feel like it hadn't caught enough like news yet.
The cat got adopted. That's what happened.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
well,
so
there we go. Scales tip into
Canadian
news.
Cat, right?
Oh my god.
I believe the cat was Canadian.
I buy it.
Toronto?
I mean, I wouldn't buy it, but yeah, I buy it.
Is there a no war against Iran
House resolution where the curbing Trump's ability to
global health emergency? That's
the WHO finally declaring it on the Thursday.
Yes. Oh, Nigerian words.
Oh yeah, a bunch of Nigerian words were added to the Oxford Dictionary.
Can I ask how you found that one?
Yes.
Were you looking for word-based news for other purposes?
Good question. I think I looked up news, and it was like, the headline was like, grab a this at a this place because this is in the dictionary now. And then I think I found it on a second site and then was like, okay, this is news.
Cool.
I forget whereabouts. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. I think this is like a really strong one. I think this is our best one yet.
Yeah. I feel good about it.
One.
I feel good about it.
Cool. I mean, now we got one more verse to do.
Shall we? All yes.
Right.
Dive in. Groundhog Day, we could do something about like warm something.
Thank you, Puxatawny Phil.
Ooh, that's good. Shakira and J-Lo.
Wow, it looks like it's a very good game. If it was a blowout, we could be like, Casey wins the Super Bowl, but we won't know.
Yeah. Super Bowl something home?
Super Bowl. Let's leave it open. Maybe the Super Bowl might actually be over by the time we finish the verse.
Okay. Oh my god, Brexit. Did you already do that?
Oh, Brexit happened.
Did you not put it?
Brexit.
Oh no, it was Friday.
It was Friday. What rhymes with Brexit?
Oh, right, Delaney.
Oh, Delaney out. Okay, and here we go. Sam, this took us 2 minutes. Here's verse 5.
Incredible. Super Bowl for Pat Mahomes, universal palindrome, tally booing Hillary, Brexit finally achieved, Kerry will not run for sure, ampersand a ligature, butterfly protectors killed, parasite wins Writers Guild, London stabbing Mini Mike, Elon Musk don't doubt your vibe, Harry Styles and Shakira stampede in Tanzania, WeWork names new CEO, sad to see Delaney go, Groundhog Day says more heat's in store, I can't take it anymore.
Yeah. That was a slog, that fifth verse. We were waiting for the Super Bowl results, among other things.
Yeah, we couldn't responsibly publish the verse
until we knew
who
won the Super Bowl. Congratulations, Kansas City. I think we're getting better.
Yes.
Like this is good. This is a good one.
Good.
So for next week, we are going to try this thing where we compile the news and write our verses offline, but we know kind of which things we're each hitting, right?
Yeah, I'm still slightly confused about what you mean by it, but like we together source news for Monday on Monday.
Yeah, or I mean, we can focus on our days.
Okay.
If we want.
Okay.
But just so that it's like, all right, these are the stories I'm looking at pulling from for Monday.
Right.
And do you want to do something like each write 3 lines of verse 5 ahead of time?
Yeah, I do.
And then do the last 2. So, because that's all the work or the time we spend recording here is doing that live.
I mean, in some ways, I am relieved that we don't have the 5th one until we get here because then I don't have to spend more time doing it. But let's try it.
Okay, so for next week, you'll do 1 and 3. I'll do 2 and 4.
Yep, and then we each read. I'll write the first 3 of one. The first 3? How many?
Yeah.
Are there 8?
There's 8.
Oh, so we'll write the last 2 together.
The last 2 lines.
Okay, so I'll write the first 3, you write the second 3.
Yeah. All right, let's do this again next week.
See you again next week.
So many to go. We're so tired already.
I hate it.
Why are we doing this?
You asked.